Before we get into today's video, if you enjoy honest, spoiler-light movie reviews, deep dives into cult classics and films that deserved a second chance, consider liking this video and subscribing to the channel. It really helps the channel grow, and it means you won't miss future reviews like this one. Now, there are movies that fail quietly at the box office, and then there are movies that refuse to stay dead. Today I want to talk about a film that not only has grown louder with time, it's a movie with a passionate fan base constantly demanding a sequel, a movie that critics and fans praise, yet audiences somehow missed. That movie is Dredd. And the big question is simple. Did Dredd deserve better when it was released?
Law is not the law. I'm the law. Negotiations over. The sentence is death.
When Dredd was released in 2012, it didn't exactly make waves at the box office. In fact, financially, it was a disappointment. And that's baffling because this is a film that did almost everything right. Over time, Dredd has become a modern cult classic. The kind of movie people discover years later and immediately ask the same question: how did this film not get a sequel? Social media is full of fans still campaigning for Dredd 2. The conversation has not died. If anything, it's grown stronger. And at the center of that conversation is its lead actor. Karl Urban is absolutely phenomenal in this role. Urban is a huge fan of the source material and it shows. He doesn't treat Judge Dredd like a generic action hero, he treats him like a symbol, a presence, a walking embodiment of the law. Most importantly, and this cannot be overstated, he never removes his helmet. Not once, and that was a deliberate choice to stay faithful to the comics, and it gives the character real weight. Dredd isn't about ego or identity. He is the law. Urban has also said in interviews that he would love to return to this role, and honestly, that just makes the lack of a sequel hurt even more. What makes Dredd's failure so frustrating is that it wasn't rejected creatively. Critics liked it, fans loved it, word of mouth was strong. Yet financially, it struggled. Karl Urban has suggested that poor marketing played a major role, that the film simply did not reach the wider audience it deserved, and I do think that's part of the story. But here's the thing. I remember seeing the trailers. I remember seeing Dredd advertised. It wasn't invisible. So what else went wrong? For me, one of the biggest issues was the 3D gimmick. Now, I will always argue that 3D worked beautifully for Avatar. It was designed for it, but the industry quickly convinced itself that everything needed to be 3D, and audiences weren't buying it. Tickets cost more, you had to wear the glasses, and unless the film was built around the format, it often added nothing. Dredd suffered because of that. My Blu-ray copy includes the 3D and the 2D version, and I have never watched the 3D cut. I don't own a 3D TV, I don't know anyone close to me who does, and I think that says a lot. Instead of focusing on how brutal, stylish, and confident the film was, the marketing leaned heavily into the format audiences were already growing tired of. But quick question for all of you. If you saw Dredd in cinemas, I'd love to know, did the 3D put you off? Let me know in the comments. Now, I can understand why Dredd did not click for everyone. It is ultra-violent, gory throughout, and unapologetically grim. This isn't a broadly accessible comic book movie you can throw at everyone. It's harsh, relentless, and mature. But having said that, Logan made 619 million, Deadpool made 782 million, and even Watchmen made millions at the box office, Dredd earned 41 million. That's not just disappointing, it's bizarre, especially when you consider how confident, faithful, and well-made this film is. It absolutely should have performed better. Because Dredd is a fantastic action comic book movie. It's faithful to the source material, it's dark, it's mature, and it commits completely to its tone. Once the blast doors close on the Peachtree's mega block, the film becomes non-stop. There's no fat, no unnecessary subplots, just survival. It's often compared to The Raid, and that comparison is earned, but Dredd adds its own identity, futuristic tech, judges, and overwhelming firepower. But the film's most inspired creative choice is how it handles the slow-mo drug. Cutting between the perspective of criminals experiencing time at 1% speed and the judges operating in real time is incredibly effective, especially during the shootouts. Seeing bullets tear through faces in ultra slow motion is brutal, gruesome, and unforgettable. It genuinely feels like the pages of a graphic novel brought to life. This is violence with style and intent, not just shock value. Lena Headey is badass as the villain Mama. She's cold, calculated, and completely believable as someone who controls an entire mega block through fear alone. The scar carved across her face, the blackened teeth immediately tells a story before she even speaks. This is someone who has lived through violence and come out the other side completely unhinged. There's a psychotic edge to her performance, but it's never exaggerated or cartoonish. Instead, it's delivered with quiet menace, making her unpredictability far more unsettling. You get the sense that she doesn't just rule Peachtree's, she infects it. And a fun fact I generally did not know until watching the film this time round, the screenplay was written by Alex Garland. Once you know that, so much of the film's confidence makes sense. The production design is also outstanding. The judges' uniforms, the bikes, the weapons, especially the lawgiver, which can fire literally any type of bullet imaginable. Everything feels heavy, functional, and dangerous. This is a simple story, two judges trapped in a building trying to survive, but it's executed with such confidence that it never feels small. It's dark, it's ruthless, and it knows exactly what it wants to be. Karl Urban completely loses himself in the role. Dredd is technically a good guy, but he's terrifying, ruthless, uncompromising. I've said it before, and I will say it again, Karl Urban would make an incredible Batman. His voice alone in this film reinforces that belief, gruff, intimidating, commanding. So to answer the question, Dredd deserved better. More people should have gone to see it, it should have spawned sequels, and it should be talked about far more than it is. But at the very least, I'm glad it's found its audience, I'm glad it's earned its cult status, and I'm glad people are recognizing just how good it is. For me, Dredd is a 4 out of 5. If you've enjoyed this review, feel free to like the video, it genuinely helps more people discover the channel. And if you want more reviews of cult classics and films that deserve a second look, subscribe and stick around. Let me know in the comments, should Dredd still get a sequel? Thank you so much for watching, and I will catch you in the next one.